Maybe we want to talk about using the order of operations to solve a math problem. The order of operations is just that. It's the order in which we do certain things to solve a math problem. Maybe you've seen the order of operations written out like this. Some folks call it PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Well, this simple little mnemonic device, this little tool to help us remember what order we do things. The P says that we do anything that's in parentheses or any really kind of brackets or brace or any kind of grouping symbol first. The E says that we do exponents first, or after that. So we do everything in parentheses or brackets or grouping symbols, then we do the exponents. MD, that tells me that I'm going to multiply and divide my problem left to right. And then AS, that means I'm going to add and subtract anything in my problem from left to right. And that's the order of operations. Parentheses or grouping brackets, exponents, multiply and divide left to right, add and subtract left to right. If I can keep that in my mind, I can remember what my order of operations are, then it should make solving fairly complicated problems start to become much easier. Let's take a look. So if I have 5 cubed divided by 1 times 10 minus 5 minus 20. Now, wow, there's a lot of grouping symbols here. I see parentheses, I see brackets, and I see braces. These really all are just a different type of grouping symbol. Well, the rule with order of operations is that you start with the innermost grouping circle, or grouping symbols. So the innermost grouping symbols here are these parentheses on the inside. I start as close to the inside of the problem as I can. So I would still have 5 cubed divided by 1 times, well, what is 10 minus 5? Well, that's 5 minus 20. So I'm still working towards the insides of my grouping symbols. So my next would be the brackets. So then I'd have 5 cubed divided by, well, 1 times 5 is 5 minus 20. Well, now I'm left with an exponent on the inside, so I'm going to do my exponent first. Now, exponents mean that I'm going to multiply 5 times itself 3 times. 5 times 5 times 5, well, that's 125. Divided by 5 minus 20. Well, 125 still inside of grouping symbols. 125 divided by 5 is 25 minus 20. Now I add or subtract left to right, and I'm going to get a simple answer of 5. Okay. Let's look at another problem similar to this. 64 divided by 4 times 27 minus 5 squared. All right. So now we're looking at this. I can see all of my different grouping symbols, parentheses and brackets, but I've got this weird situation where I have an exponent inside my parentheses. So what am I going to do? Well, with that, it's really not as complicated as it looks. I still start with my inside most parentheses, Alright, so these inside-most parentheses, I still start here, but I'm going to have to solve the exponent inside first. So I would have 64 divided by 4 times 27. Well, 5 squared is the same as saying 5 times 5, which is 25. And now I can start working. So I have 64 divided by 4 times, well, 27 minus 25 is 2. I'm still going to work those grouping symbols, right? These come next. So 64 divided by, well, 4 times 2 is 8. Then just divide. 64 divided by 8 equals 8, and that would be my answer. Let's look at one more problem like this. So 2 cubed times 4 divided by 2 plus 2. Alright, so again, I work my innermost grouping symbols. The parentheses on the inside, the furthest ones in the middle. So I'm going to work those. And I have to do that exponent that's in there first. Alright, so I'm going to have 2 cubed. Well, 2 times 2 times 2, right? 2 times itself 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 times 4 divided by 2 plus 2. 8 times 4, again, because I'm going to work my next set of grouping symbols on the inside. All right, so 8 times 4, that would be 32. So 32 divided by 2 plus 2. 32 divided by 2 is 16 plus 2, and that would give me 18. So remember, the order of operations, easy way to remember it, PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. Do anything in parentheses or grouping symbols first. Then do any exponents next. Multiply and divide left to right. That's super important. That left to right. Okay. And then you would also add and subtract left to right. Again, we want to work all these problems left to right if possible. So we do our parentheses first, then our exponents, multiply and divide left to right, add and subtract left to right. And that's what we're going to do for when we're looking at the order of operations, PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide left to right, add, subtract left to right.